Few of you last year at Somali Week, and that was like 1 week after I joined the PTC. So now I've been at the PTC for a whole year, and it's really great to be back at Somali Week London. The PTC has been working with Somali Week for 10 years now. It's a really important relationship to us, and Somali poetry has always been a really important part of the work of the PTC. For anyone who doesn't know what we do, we translate and promote and tour and publish poets from Asia, Africa, and Latin America. So outside Europe, basically, where poetry is not as well translated into English as it should be. But we have always emphasized languages that are spoken by a large community here in the UK, because it's as much about connecting with our neighbours here in the UK. We're lucky to live in such a diverse country, but we don't necessarily know that much about each other's cultures, so it's a way of doing that. We really believe that poetry is a meeting place, and that translation is the lifeblood of poetry. So we have to say thank you to our main funder, who is Arts Council England. The Strategic Touring Fund has enabled us to travel around the country, making events and meeting new people to share poetry with them. This is the first of our 2 partnership events between PTC and Somali Week this week. We have another one tomorrow featuring London-based poet Ashalul Muhammad Yusuf, who I'm sure most of you know, who is going to be reading with her poet translator friend Claire Pollard, and that's at South Bank Centre, not to be missed. But tonight we're here to talk about Weedhsame. Xasan Daahir Weedhsame should have been here, should have been here to present his poem Galileo, which we've translated and published as a poster this week. So a little bit about this poem, on our relationship to this poem. The PTC first heard about Galileo when Dr. Martin Orwin from SOAS brought the poem to a Poetry Translation Centre workshop. And we explored the poem, and we were really in love with it. It seemed to say something so important and so urgent. And then it sat on our website for a few years. And then more recently, the news feeds that have been about the migrant and refugee crisis seemed to just be showing like one side of that story. It was just about the kind of flood of people, or the impact on resources, or everyone was being portrayed as a victim only. And we thought, actually, this poem that Weedhsame wrote is a really important kind of counter to that one-sided narrative that we saw. Voices like his, young contemporary voices, are more important than ever, we think, and we just felt it was the least we could do to offer that a platform in this country and in the English language. It's a huge irony that Weedhsame himself is stuck in Addis Ababa, waiting for a visa, or waiting for a decision about a visa. We all know the main reason about a visa refusal will be about overstaying, and it's mad that somebody whose poem expressly begs people not to go Taqrib, who's really passionate about Somalis building Somalia, Somaliland, and staying in the country, building it, like that, the fact that he has that message, and then he might be refused a visa, just maybe they should just read his poem. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We have the good fortune of having Weedhsame's co-translators Daljit Nagra, who's an award-winning British poet, and Martin Orwin, who many of you know is a senior lecturer at SOAS and a great friend of Weedhsame's. They're going to present Galileo in our translation, Catastrophe, in its fantastic new translation. We're going to hear it first in Somali and then have a little discussion about the process of translating, and then we'll hear the English version as well. But first, Martin's going to read a short message from Weedhsame.
Thank you, Erica. Hey, habeen wanaagsan wala samlamantiin marka Erica siday tiri Weedhsame wuxuu joogaa Addis Ababa waa la diiday viisaha marka fariin ayuu idin soo diray isagoo leh dhammaan waan salaamaya dadka madasha fadhiya waan jeclaa inaan idinla joogo waana ii qorshaysnayd inaan idinla wadaago maansadan Galileo suuragal samay noqon waxaan rajaynayaa inaad u bogi doontaan turjumada Martin Orwin iyo Daljit Nagra ku sameeyeen Galileo. Mar labaad iyo marar badan salaan waafiya ayaan idin soo diraya. Rabbigu ha idin xafido. So just to translate, this is a message from Weedhsame, who's stuck in Addis Ababa because he's refused his visa. And so he says, I greet everyone who's here at the Madal, very good Somali word, the place where everyone's gathered. I would have liked to be there, and it was planned that I would share with you all this poem Galileo, but it's not been possible. I hope that you will be satisfied with the translation that Martin Orwin and Daljit Nagra have made of Galileo. So once again, and many times, full greetings I send to you. May God protect you all. So that was his message from Addis Ababa. And now, so أنا متلدونا يعني it's so في Somali بنقول حد لينو إمك وحنا خريدونا تحدي Galileo مركا وحي كسب سنتهي تهريب and يعني it's وحق بدن باكود حشرة مركا so Xasan Daahir Weedhsame وGalileo وحيري ifkay gogoshiisu xawltay ogow galab nool baa waashil ma oge taladii u goostay ma oga gurigay furayso galiilyada moogdanbaysa naftana hunguraagad qaada cakuye damacaa kuguura haddana godobtiyo lurkeeda gefkiyo ceebtiyo xunkeeda ogow garashaa u qoolan wedkana gamaskii ma iisho gaashaan caliyaa ma baajo ishaa gibidheed ma daaho qofnaba gabbalkii ma waaro waxaan hobo geeri kowdha tani waan igoo gurguurta ilaa maantooga leeyahay war geeriya ooy qooma gadaafo wacaal xambaarsan dhegtaydu maxay guddoontay intaan tabaygaan la waayey maxaan muragara la goohay barbaartii iga gablooshay kuwaan guraxyar u beelay markan godobtooda raadshay gunaadiyo ciil gadhoodhay miyaan gocashada ku qoomay bad gawliyo gacanka xeebta miyaan goodiyey guhaadshay gartayda miyaan bilaabay haddaad maxastayda gowrac badyahay kaga gooban weyday inaad birmagaydadayda sidaa u gashaa gar maaha allaylahay waad gumowday gashaan kugu leeyahay qaanah garqaado hasoo gignaane ilaahna raha ku geeya adaa gadhmadoobahayga haweenkiyo gaaridayda ku gaasira meel go'doona gudhoo galabtaba abbaadso biyuhu gororoo ku gawdshe gawaan noqo meel garoona dhul geedigu galab arraabo iminka baddu waxay tirahaa يعني انتي قوحدي ققليسي هركي دوبتي قراعدي وحي تري قورو قاقو قفيو وايقو قدافو مقايو قدب تادي سارتي عوي تدا ادقانيسو ميان قلب سري بالكادسو عدو قاي قاقو ليتو هدو سهن كاقو قابشو هدو سمر كاقو قورو قانيعاتكو نقبنوبو قوستو كوغوغاي لميسا قراد هرلا كساحدو ميان غير رشينكيدو هورتير غيدو كوغينين هبلها غوداي تهريبي هرغا تمايا الليلي غيداي اسغدانا وايي markii gacal baajin waayay shariidku miyuga siintay intuu saxruhu doonshay hal yey lagu giirtay ficni intee xabsi lagu gumeeyay gaashaan timo wada qoreysha intee guuleed tisqaaday raqdiisii xaad ku goohay dhashii guuluhu ku siiyey dogaagu muxuu ku guusay markuu huurigu gidoomay markay guglanayd barbaartu kaluunku miyuu Galileo elmada ciil gabax ka siiyey tiyo xeebaha goshooda maydkeeni galan galcoobay miyaad garan weyday kaadso xasuuqa tahriibku geysto gumaadiyo geeri foolxun hooyooyinka weerarka goostay shilkani kugu gaaf wareegay waxunbaa laga guntaaye miyaydaan kaga gaboobin gugooda ayoo gadooday gudguday soo gallab carraabay markay galowgiyo juglaydu ka yuusaan geliga kaynta miyaan garashadu dhigaynin dasada gibalada ku giiji geeliyo geeslay lo'daada halkii gelmiyo dogaag leh gelgelin gawsaha hungaysa miyaan garashadu dhigaynin inaad waabari ka guurto adoo gurigaagii iibshay haddaad gabankiina weydo adoo gabagaba u yaala haddaad dhiilada guddoonto wadkaad ginisiisataaye haddaad geeridi la jaarto hadduu maalkaagu gooyo intuu aadmiga ka giigay kolay waa galabsigaaye maxaad go'ashare ka toosin garwaaqsaday inaan taraaray guddoon xaaliri balqaado isagaa leh gabayaagiisa ma sareedaduu may guddeene babbartu may go'deene badweyniskuma goreene xilbaan gubin kaad u dhiibtay halmuu garanayatiin leh xaq muu gudin aad sugaysay halkaad u gollayd ma gaynin hayaankiyo geedigaaga guubaabana wuu ka seexday inuu galabnoo tibaaxo guulguulka naftaa ku oogan dhallaankani sii gurmaaya hankaa laga wada gumaystay buugguunaa yidhi ma gaadhid halkuu aadmigu u guuray rajada gibil baa ka saaran runtana waa laga go'doonshay gabnaa tahay baa asqaysay gufaacaa lagu faruuray kalsoonida gabagabaysay qof baa tahay guulabuura qof baa tahay guryagleela qof baa tahay gaarahaantaa ku gaajooba xooskeena gankaa kuma dheera caaro aqoontaaduna ma gaabna ma gaagaxin aayahaagu dadkaagu kuma gariifin dalkaagan kama go'aysid galbeed yurub kuuma yeedhin gariiguna kuuma baahna gubbaa tahay mooganteeda adiga gaygaagu waa kan gargaara faray ka hoogtay ku eg gabargaal horataada u fiirso balgoonyahaaga gadaashaadana baldheeho dhalaan baa kugu gadaaman gidaarada dhaxanta jiifa garaadkaaga u hiila qabyaa kugu gaaf wareegsan hortaa aan cidi gufaynin xilbaa guudkaaga saaran ka weyn goosoo dhaqaaji waad mahadsantihiin.
The way that we translate at the Poetry Translation Centre is always as a result of collaboration. Sometimes that's practical because sometimes it takes a group of people to get all the skills you need to translate poetry, which is like the extreme sports of translation. It's the hardest thing to do. Sometimes it's because there's just an additional pleasure to be had from talking about translation outside of your own mind. You might make new ideas and new connections that might not happen if you're just one person. So I'd like to bring in Daljit Nagra, who is a British poet who's won many awards, as I mentioned, and who has actually had experience of translation as well, in a way. I wonder if you might introduce yourself a little bit and what you brought to the experience.
Okay, yeah. Hello, everyone. It's lovely to be here today. So my parents are from northern India, from Punjab. And my parents were, migrants, came over late 1950s. So I was born and grew up near Heathrow Airport. So right from my childhood, my earliest memories, I've always heard about northern Indians trying to get to Britain, some making it, some being sent back, some sort of trying to come along the way and failing, going back. So that's been a kind of narrative of my life right up to now. And that's still an ongoing kind of escapade in a way, kind of these adventures and horror stories you hear. So that's that kind of biographical element. In terms of translation, I worked with a Dutch poet a few years ago and we translated each other's work. And then I did a version of the classic Asian epic, the Ramayana, the Diwali Festival of Lights. That comes from the story, which is 3,000 to 4,000 years old. And there are many different versions of the story in India, Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, Burma, Nepal. They all have their own version. So I just read as many different versions I could in translation, having grown up with the Punjabi version of the story as a child. And I put together my own kind of eclectic version, taking on board the different traditions of the story. So I guess that's my background to this project, in a sense.
Yeah, wonderful. And if any of you are lucky enough to hear Daljit read from the Ramayana, you can hear he's put a huge amount of his own voice into the version, which I guess is something you can do when you're working with a classic text. How was your experience of working with Martin, approaching this text written by a contemporary poet, who you can ask questions about what they meant or, what they wanted the reader to
Yeah, I think it's a fundamentally different experience because the Ramayana is about my ego, my personality, my voice. This is much more about a young, contemporary, exciting new poet who has his own voice and who's developing his voice. I think for me it was a case of working with Martin, learning about the tradition of this poem and the history of the poem and what it involves, and really allowing Martin to do the literal version and offering comments and trying to keep my own distinct identity to the background and allowing the poem to have its own voice come up. So in a sense, I felt we were both serving the poem and not serving our own personality so much, which is very easy because there's quite a few things I would do differently to this poem. Once you've taken it away from the original meter and the original music of the poem, you start then thinking about it as an English poem. And then there's like, for example, we could have done the alliteration. The original is alliterative, isn't it, Martin? So if we'd done this as a alliterative poem, my only worry was it would probably sound like an old English poem, and then we'd be settling it into a very English tradition. That would probably lose the freshness or the contemporariness of the poem. So it's trying to find a middle ground somewhere, wasn't it, I think? But I mean, I'm sure you have your views on that as well.
Yeah, it was a really fascinating experience to watch. It was like watching a tennis. Martin, can you give us a bit of the context of Galileo when Weedhsame wrote it, and about that?
Well, he wrote this poem. I mean, everyone knows stories of people who have gone on tahrib, and he had heard of. Sorry, tahrib. Yeah, tahrib is the migration that Idil's still here. That she was talking about when people are leaving because they see sort of Europe as being this sort of bright place that they want to get to, and so he'd heard this story about some people in Borneo selling their houses to finance the emigration of their young relatives, and a number of young men had been killed in this journey, and he knew personally people who had been killed sort of from previous ones, and particularly from a group from Borneo. There was, I think, about 5 or 6 or so were from the local football team, and so it affected him, as it does affect everyone, and there's so much. It's interesting. I mean, when you're there in Hargeisa, you see even above shops hatahribin. Sometimes I've seen that a couple of times above shops in Hargeisa, and this is really his statement on the issue of tahrib. And he does it in this wonderful way because so many people die in the Mediterranean, so they die in the sea. So he addresses the sea, saying, "Sea, you're the person, the entity which is doing all of this killing." But then the sea turns around and says, "Well, wait a bit. Is it me? Am I the one to blame? Look to where these people are coming from." And so it's this dialogue between him and the sea. So it starts out with him just sort of expressing this his anguish. I mean, I should just say a bit about the Galileo. In Somali is wamurgo or kala wah markila Galileo samai. And one or two people have discussed this with me. People felt that catastrophe was a better word. Catastrophe was masibo or kala. It's more masibo, but it's called catastrophe in English. But he's speaking to the sea, and then the sea answers back, and then of course at the end he as the poet hears what the sea has to say. He realizes that he's made a mistake in blaming the sea for these calamities, and so at the end he presents this message of encouragement and hope, and urging people to see what they have and to have confidence in their own lives and their own society, and to do what they can to help. This image of the children in the Hanta Chifa and at the end. And he said that a lot of young people actually memorized these last lines. So people that that had heard the poem. And it was interesting, actually, one of the YouTube videos of him reading this poem, one of the first comments, I was looking down, and it's actually these last lines in the Somali, just emphasizing this, Qofbata hay gula bura. It's straightforward. Everyone can understand this. Qofbata hay guriya glela. Qofbata hay gara hanta. Gara hanta. It's gara hanta was the meter. So the meter is bar adde, and sometimes people call it other things, but this ifke gugushi sahauti, and obviously it alliterates in ga. Those people who are not familiar with Somali poetry, it's all metrical. It's all alliterative. And so when it comes to the translation, one of the key things for me, and we discussed this with Daljit, is the flow of language is very distinct between the different metrical patterns. And so this is different to chiefto, it's different to a gabe, of course, it's different to something like makalai warlai or short line or gerar, which master of gerar is sitting at the end here. And so getting some of the flow of the language and how that interacts with the syntax, and also the power of the language, the words he used. I mean, maybe some of the younger people might have found some of the words a bit difficult to understand in the Somali original. Why would that be? So they're yes. I mean, for example, people are not familiar with, for example, Jugleda, what all that means. When they busted the jugle in the countryside, sort of with this aspect of foreboding, and it's a bird, yes. It's a busted bird. When the translation we've got that, but it's
what that bird signifies.
What it signifies, in the sense of it, sort of when it calls out.
So there's all these different elements that have already been raised, like the alliteration, the meter, a certain imagery that is well used in poetry, but maybe not familiar to people who haven't grown up in the countryside or grow up outside Somali territories. So in the English version, which is not a spoiler, it doesn't alliterate, and it doesn't have the same meter. But what were the things you prioritized, the two of you, in the translation to ensure, as you said, Daljit, that it was Weedhsame's voice that came through? How did you choose what to keep and what to let go?
I think the main thing was making sure the surface was clear, that it communicated the powerful narrative. And it's a very emotional poem, isn't it? I mean, it's about presenting an idea to the sea and then sea answering back, and then talking to your own community, the community that's leaving and the community that's left. So it's in every sense, it's a really powerful voice caught in the middle of things. So our job was really to make sure the surface was clear at every point, that there weren't unnecessary ambiguities or the syntax wasn't difficult, the arrangement of words stayed surface clear, didn't it, I think? We ended up talking about those sort of things quite often.
I think one of the big things that we put in was this I had spoken. So where in Somali the people are used to voice changing quite abruptly in poetry, whereas in English we're not used to that. So where voice changes, it's, put this in the translation, I had spoken, and then the sea had spoken. So it's sort of clearly, the reader in English has a clear sense of who's speaking at what point.
And that might be more necessary because over here we're used to reading our poems silently in our minds on a page, but I suppose it's much more normal to hear a poem in Somali.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
And there's that free verse structure. We've sort of broken away from the fixed form, and sometimes we've got more lines in a verse, sometimes fewer lines, haven't we? So just make sure that works.
Yes.
And maybe we should talk about.
Yeah. I'm going to give it, because you're about to hear the English version, so you can listen to all the comments people have made, and then hear what was finally produced. But we published it like this, with the Somali and the English next to each other, and you'll notice that those very important final lines in Somali have turned up in the English 5 lines longer, the English version, in order to most truly capture his voice, the shape of the poem had to change a bit. That's one of those funny ironies about translation. Sometimes you have to go a little bit further away to get closer somehow. We commissioned this beautiful artwork by Brian Talbot, who's a British artist, for the other side, and it's, our intention with this poster was to present the poem as a kind of, as a long speech, but it's also, it could be folded up like a travel document that you might take with you, and it was just our hope that people might hold this, close to their chest as they walk around the world. I want to say a special thank you to some people in the room who helped us to fund this poster. We did a crowdfunder in the summer, and many generous people helped us to print this, and you're here in the room, so thank you very much for that. Daljit, I wonder if you could read the English for us. Yeah.
Okay, as Erica said, there are copies here for purchase after. So I'm going to read it quite pacily, so to really follow it, I guess you can purchase a copy afterwards. So I'll try and make it obscure in places, so you have to get a copy. So, Catastrophe. The mat on which life lies is hard. Beware, each day we stumble. The one who's unaware doesn't know what door a decision will open, nor the anguish which can follow. Hunger leads a person by the chin, then grubby greed rides it. So again, beware. Good sense is harnessed to blame, to guilt, and shame and all their rot. The spear of death doesn't miss its target, or linger for a blink of an eye. No shield repels it. No one outlasts their life. So I'm certain of one thing, death. From crawling baby to bearded man, bad news disturbed me, loaded with disaster. I felt for the strong ones lost. I groaned with grief for the young, those who had no milk. I sickened for them and wept. Inflamed by the scab of resentment, I chased the scourge with blood on its hands. Was I deranged by the memories? I stood on the coast and threatened, accused the booming sea. A booming ocean, say. See, you didn't prevent the slaughter of the weak. It's criminal the way you treated the people shielded by law. By God, you've sunk low. The reparation you owe is clear. Admit it. Don't stay silent. God will send you to the fires of hell. It's you who tore at my people, the fine women and men injured in a desolate place. Be drained each day. Be empty. May you dry up, drop by drop, become a drought-ridden open desert that in the evening the nomad will walk over. I had spoken. The sea roared and rumbled. It rolled its waves and churned its foam, and said, "Your poem is a travesty. I don't deserve the guilt you hurl, the curse you cast. Is this my due? Just hold on. Your leaders are lacking. Your country grows weak. Your patience is lost. Your smiles fade. Your understanding sleeps." That would have tackled the despair that seeps inside you and steers the journey to the hour of your death. A wave crept up towards the girls as they were trafficked in darkness. It tore them apart. They had no tree to cling to, and predators revelled when no friend was there to save them. All those the Sahara cut off, good men proclaimed as heroes, how many were left wretched in jail? How many virtuous women failed to reach their potential? Vultures cawed over the carrion of each corpse. Wild beasts clawed the offspring given you by God. When the boat was overturned, the young were scattered along the shore. Did the fish in anguish not weep tears of festering anger? Are you unaware of your dead amassed from coast to coast? Just look. The slaughtering migration, draped in mourning cloth for a blunder which comes round again. What binds you to it all? When the bustard calls out from the bush to warn you of the heavy spring showers, the gales and afternoon downpours, Are you not grown up enough to know to tighten the roof mat on the frame of your hut? Doesn't common sense tell you to leave at dawn the place where the jaws of your cattle and camels have nothing to chew, where ticks and carnivores threaten? If you've sold your goods and your house, if all your children are gone, if you stagger at the brink after hearing terrible news and offer your final shilling to death, who you make your neighbour, if all your wealth has bought you only that which humans despise, why lament the fate of loved ones? It's what you deserve. C had spoken, and I replied, well, I hear you. I admit I've gone too far. Accept my apology. To the people, I say, prosperity should not have vanished. The young should not have perished, not thrown themselves on the ocean. Duty didn't burn in the spirit of him you handed it to. He had no plan for the future, didn't uphold the justice you were expecting. He slept. He didn't speak out each day as he should to inspire the camel trek to the destination you gathered for. Menace surrounds you. Your children die. All their dreams are crushed. Colonial powers wrote in books that you wouldn't reach the place to which humanity aspires. A skin now covers hope. Truth has been cut away, and you're told you're worthless. All this overwhelms you and splits apart your sinking confidence. You are people who can build a home. You are people in your own right. Leave behind the false hunger and look to your success. You're not any less by even a spear tip than your peers elsewhere. Your intellect is strong. Your future is bright. Your people need you. Your country has not cut you off. Western Europe has not called you. The Greeks do not need you. Where is your self-respect? Your place is here. Life got out of hand, but look to what's ahead of you. Take in what's by your side. Turn round and see the children clumped together in the cold, sleeping by the walls. Only your effort can help them. A shattered world surrounds you that no one has yet made whole. The responsibility rests on you, more pressing than cut and run. Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much, Daljit, and to Daljit and Martin for that translation. We're going to read two more poems by Weedhsame, and a slight change of mood. These are both love poems. One is you might say, a slightly bitter love poem, and one is a more happy note to end the night on. So the first one is a poem that we actually translated at a poetry translation workshop last week, so 6 days ago. This is like, it couldn't be more hot off the press. So the Poetry Translation Centre workshop meets every 2 weeks. Every session is led by a poet, an English language poet, and we have a special guest each time who is a skilled translator and who brings to us a suggestion of a poem and an initial translation that we can work from. So we had hoped that Weedhsame would be with us in the workshop, but in the end Martin represented him and we translated a new poem, and we managed to get through the whole thing in one session. And the way the sessions work is that there's usually 8 or 10 people in the room who all have different experiences. Some of them might be translators, some might be writers, some people are just interested in culture. They're just there because they're interested. But somehow everybody has something to contribute. When you translate in common together, everybody has an opinion that's valuable towards the final translation. It always feels like something quite magical, and we can never explain how we've ended up with something so right by the end, but that's just translating in collaboration for you. If anyone is interested to come and translate with us, we're open to all. You don't need to know the language of that week. You can just come and ask us later about taking part and making more translations with us. So this is our newest translation, and Martin's going to read the original poem first for us.
Right, thank you, Ari. This is one that he made called Kala Ur, and it's you'll understand it. Kala Ur. Naftan ubateynaysa ee kugu agmeeraysa qalbi baa afduubaya cadmadaa ku soodoonta indhahaa ku eegeega aragaaga xiiseeya wadnahaa abuuraaya caashaqa iniintiisa unugyada ku beeraaya unugyada waa selskiisa waa gaarteen soo maa inkastoo dherdaynayso ama aad ilaaqayso ikhtiyaar naftii laashay kaa ooli kari weyday anna ula shudayn maayo adna digasho waa kuu ul anigu ilbixi maayo adiguna arxami maysid anna aamusnaan maayo adna eraysan kaa waayi anna ubaxyo kuu keenay adna odaxda ii dheegtay ma adoo qoraa uuman ma adoo qoraa aawan dadka kale kamaan cawran amranoo karaamaysan aynigaa ka muuq fiican mise waa ishaartayda ahlantiyo salaantayda weedhaha ammaantayda iyo eemameyntayda waxaan ururka kuu qaaday kaa dhigaylayskaahay haddii aanan kuu eexan asaagaa ka soo leexan ama aanan kuu iilan arwaaxdayda kugu deeqin ama aanan kuu oomin ama aanan kuu ooyin ama uurka kuu saafin ama eraysan kuu socin ixtiraam ku siinaynin waad ilmayn lahayd aadmigu wuxuu haysto ma arko ma aabeeyo mana oga ma weyneeyo
So we wanted to retain Weedhsame's scientific language. His mathematical background keeps creeping into his poems, so you'll have caught those references to the cell and the constellations. We translated Kala Ur as separate beings. This spirit which is howling, hovering around you, is ensnared by the heart. These limbs seek you, these eyes search for you, yearn for sight of you. The heart is sowing seeds of passion, planting them in each cell. Though you are making it wary or finding fault, this spirit has cast off choice, couldn't live without you. I am not putting hope aside. Your gloating is a raised stick. I'm not learning my lesson. You show no mercy. I cannot be silent. You've withheld kind words. I brought you flowers. You handed me the thorns. Are you God's only creation? Are you alone good? Are you the most profound, most charismatic and respected with beauty beyond your peers? Or is it my gestures, my welcome, my greeting, the lines of my praise and my longing? All I took to the Urur constellation and made out of you beamed light. I haven't done you an injustice, haven't turned away from your equals, haven't turned my back on you. If I hadn't offered you my soul, hadn't thirsted for you, hadn't shed tears for you, hadn't poured my heart out for you, hadn't composed these kinds words for you, hadn't shown you respect, you would have wept for me. What humanity possesses it neither sees nor values, neither knows nor elevates. So, so that we managed, it's a fantastic poem by Weedhsame, and of course, like the best poetry, it travels so well. everybody knows the feelings he's describing. But we managed to produce it in under 2 hours with a group of people who had never met each other before. So it's one of our favorite things about working at the PTC is being able to make these translations. So our last poem is this is a third, yet another way of translating, which is a translator, the mind of a translator producing a translation, which is maybe what you might expect of translation. And it's a love poem that Martin is going to tell us a bit more about and then read in Somali for us. Yeah.
Right, this يعني حبك برشيد باليرها halkan buu joogay iyo 2 sano ka hor maahay marka way saddex marka warwada ganaysan mar labaad aan matalo yani waa cuz waan wada joognay dhowr qof Mario Rashid iyo Jama Saeed Saleh in Hargeisa 2 years ago, if you remember, the community events evening in Hargeisa, the old cultural centre. And so where somebody was meant to read this poem, but he had to leave. And so I read this poem, and then I read it in English as well, although I've sort of worked on the translation a bit more since. This is a straightforward love poem that he made. He came out of a house one day and saw a sugsug tree. And there was this plant growing inside it, one of these parasitic plants, and he thought it was very beautiful. And so it got him to thinking about how, in a love poem, women are represented, a love poem by a man, obviously, and how they're described and so on. And this, in a sense, is a sort of statement of that. So, Habak Barshid, this is Chiefto, and it's, the translation is, again, I've tried to get the sort of flow of the language in the translation. So, Habak Barshid, wuxuu Hays galab hilla'ay, Xasan ka sagalkay, Xiddo shalku leeyo xidigtii dagaaray, Xilli mooda galabed xinjaraha guduuti oo xaradhyada sibaaqa ah ku dul xiratay caadkay. Jeegaanis xaydo midabada xariirta ah kala xayashadoodii mid waliba xijaabkiioo iska fayday xuubkay. Dayaxoo hinaysto intuu xuuray daahi cirka xaro ka ooto xaadiisii muujo dhulka xubin madoobayd ku xoreeyey nuurkay. Ama geed xayaabo mahiigaan xalayda ay xubnihiisa maydho xashiishka iyo boodhkii daad xuurtu qaado alcalyada xareedihii xididkiisii aasnaa xara dhaaminayso xagga sare caleentii u baxira xintamaya hadad kala samaysteen xamashkiyo ugbaadkuna intay dharku xeenkiyo xusuladu ku qaateen hoostiisa xaadheen qorraxduna xanjaadkiyo xabadkeeda faydo xaqal fiiqan kaaxii kaga soo xogaysay xaqal fiiqan magaranaysa waa acute angle weeye isaga xisaabta ayuu dartay marka taas wuxuu ku dhex dharay wax xamar geenyo ogobo geelagu xabaadhiyo xarumaha colaadeed xaasha ka dhagalo xaalufiyo abaariyo weli aan xuluul mudan oo loo xilqaba oo xidhbiyuhu fariisteen xarfo dharabka ku yuururo xasilooni mirato sarbi lagu xanuunshiyo aan xawd ku dhaceenoo sabarkeeda xaadii iska xoodhay feedhaha xamxamanayso xubna xeere oo idil xayndaabay farowgii oo loo dalxiis tago xaadhintay ku noosho sida xayga dayreed dhaayuhu xaggeedaa xasilaad ku dhexdaan kuruxdeeda xeesha leh adaa xuural cayn yahay xusul iyo badheero sida xidid halbowlaha ka xamaala dhiigaad xidig yahay naftaydii ugu xeel fogaato xujadii kalgacalkaay xisku wuxuu jecelaystaa xilo inaad u noqotaa wax xiise guuniyo igu beeray xadantada xurmadiyo samaantiyo xishoodkiyo dulqaadkiyo xilkaskiyo aqoontaa rabbi kuu xambaarsho waxaa tahay xaqiiqdii gacaliyo xigaalaba raaliyo xaqdhowrtiyo qaryad xeer ku dhaqanto mukur laga xoreeye xuduntii aftahankaay xigmadiyo sarbeebtiyo haasaawe xolaho xoodhaan shamaankaad isku daba xidhaayo sida xadhiga soohdaa halladiisa hadalkaad xeldheeri unugtaa أنا حبك برشيراي حل جانس برانان كشكوجو حريقه وحندر حكتيدون حفدون عدكية بهلو با حسينتي حمل كيدي جويو حاهيجي جعيل كا حيلغا إيكينه عوابا حياري عاشق حلكيسي هرو ما يقللنا ومحسنين
Royal Jelly. This is a translation by Martin Orwin. Your lightning flash rain, the scarlet sash of dawn, the frill of the shawl, the Gaarriye nebula. When sunset glows, you adorn the sky, blood red, tied above the cloud. You're a risen rainbow, the hijab lifts away, stripe by stripe, revealing the silken colours. You're the hennaed moon, haloed by a mist-soft glow. Your veil is shed, and you free a darkened corner of the world with light. You're a tree in bloom. The heavy rain cleansed last night its branches. The foaming flood cleared the debris and dust. The freshwater lappings caressed its roots. The leaves and blossom vie and tussle. The verdure and shoots take up the moisture to waist an elbow and sweep its trunk. You're the spine of the sun. Its chest emits acute angle rays of light it urges through the breaking day. You're a chestnut mare whose ears have not yet heard the call to the camel raid or the quarters of conflict. She hasn't suffered the dry, drought-laden land, nor the dregs of pasture. She's cared for and grazes calmly at night in the bush where the pond sits and dew crouches in the grass. Never hurt by a whip, nor touched by a stick, her downy fur smooths over her ribs and limbs. People arrive to view the filly in her fenced-off hollow. Their eyes turn gently like white spring flowers toward her striking form. You are more beautiful than the houris by far. Like the arteries that carry the blood to the depths of the body, you, a star, reach the core of my soul. You're the proof of love. My whole being wishes you become my wife. What sowed the desire and yearning in me? Your virtue, patience, knowledge, modesty, the respectfulness and responsible nature that God has placed in you. You are the truth. With friends and relatives, you show the highest virtues of women. Free from caprice, you're the navel of eloquence. Like spinning a rope, you tie together wisdom and metaphor, the choicest words that soothe the mind. You excel in composing the sweetness of speech. You're royal jelly, and when we met, I etched you in my chest. I kept it secret, hidden, held tight. Now, longing has broken the burden of concealing, and waves of desire have brought me to speak. Khayat, this evening, for a home in passion, shall we prepare the ground? Such a fabulous poem. I've heard that we have a few minutes, so I wondered, what do you think? So, sorry to change the emotional mood yet again, but we have a few more minutes apparently before we have our musical part of the evening. And partly because Ashalul Muhammad Yusuf is reading tomorrow and it's a bit of a preview, and partly because the poem we're going to read is so relevant after the attacks in Mogadishu, we're going to read her poem Dawa. Yeah.
Right, this is what the Quranists and Ashalul Muhammad Yusuf. Labakun Iyosagaalkii waxay tirisay gabay ku saabsanaa masiibadii dhacday yani waqtiga dhakhaatiir badan baa ku dhintay marka anigoo ka shaqeeya SOAS iyo ililba marka xaggaas baan ka nimid. And the Somali Society of SOAS, they wanted to, they asked me if I would read a poem at this vigil they were holding for all the victims of the atrocities that happened in Mogadishu recently. And so I thought this was a very fitting poem because it's about the atrocity that happened in 2009. So it's by Dawaq by Ashulul Muhammad Yusuf. And it's a gabe which has been translated by Claire Pollard with Saeed and Alto. Da gabega watanan tirin lorgu yotagaye. Dan tadiya watanan tumin deshi mansarae. Dolki murtida waneganda bugulu qaine. Somali ruh digugalay daursan kariwaye. Anumba dalala yemaladugan bamaisane. maantana dhawaaq baa bixiyo dhiilo aan damine dhakhaatiirtii wada laayo dhidibkii Soomaali dhuuxii cadow bay shoobeen waqay dhan talmaane qamar oo ma dhaafaana bay luxudka dhiibsheene dhalintii la sugayay marqudha dhaadhka jabiyeene dhirtu waa u oydo cirkuna dhabic u soo daaye bal maxay ka dheefeen kuwa cunay dhalaankooda Del ninkii moodayow dhamcaday Somali dacwa baa ka tahaya oo dhaymo lala waaye maydka dhalfiifaha noqdoon cidina dhaadayne u barakii dhan qalan weeye oo dhaygagbaadalaye dumarkii dhafoorkay hayan daraadiye dhag hurdada u ledi waa qofkii dheegtay waayahay dhankii aad ka eegtaba qalbigu waa isdhimayaaye qaxootiga kan dhun yaalay baa dhibay naftaydiye kuwa doonta lagu dhoofiye lagu dhammaynayo ee badweyn ku dhimanayaa baa dhibay naftaydiye dhaqankeenan baaba'ay ayaa dhibay naftaydiye diintaa la dhalandhooliyaa dhibay naftaydiye xamaray dhibkaagay dhamqoo waan dhutinayaaye xamaray raggii kuu dhashaa dhuunta kuu galaye xamaray dhurwaabaa ku helay aan dhargi aqoone xamaray nindhaar kuu galaan kuu dhammayn weliye xamaray dhunqaal qooshan bay kugu dhexdhaadsheene xamaray ninaan kuu dhigayn baa ku dhaansaday xamaray raggii dhaadhacayoo dhuuriyey baa hadhaye dhoongeeyu nacas baa fadhiya dhamastii weynayde dhira dhabato kaa beerayo geed dhalowyahane dharaartii ilaah keenayo waaga dhaladhkiisa dhugta qoriga kaaraha dhiciyo jiibka dhamanaaya dhimbiilaha qarxayiyo madfaca dhamada tuuraaya suugaa dhacaayiyo waxa dhuumo laba qaacay hub gumaysta soo dhiibay baa la isla dhacayaaye dhallaankiiyo maatida ayaa lagu dhammeeyaaye dhabandaarna garan waa inuu taaga dhiidhayo doqon baa dhabbara sii hayo dhowdha muu garane dhugdhugtuba raggeer umadhcasana jeer la soo dhiga waxba gabaygu yuu ila dhaca mina way iska dhigayaaye waxa aan u sii dhaadhacaa waa dhegxumo uune dhirarkii xabaalaha qotaan noqon dhigiisiye dheef lagama quustee dadkii waa dhursugayaaye duco dhaabaan baan marinayaa dhaha bal aamiinta allahayow halyay dhiiranoo dhaarta fulinaaya oo dhammayslisaayoo nirgahaan ka dhadhinaynin dhiilkayo gaawaha midkii dhayra uga buuxsha oo nabaddu waa dheemane dheeha uga maala dhulku wuu ilmeeyee midkii dhab ugu soo hiisha dhagaxayo ciidana mid aan cadho u soo dhaafin dhadhamiyo midaan lagu sabayn dhariga loo buuxsha fule dhababaceeyaa hele kii u dhimanaaya dhaxan baa idlaysee midkii dhacan ku awdaaya dabayshaa dhurbaxaysiyo dhadhada hooraysa mid dhismo adkaynaya oo seeska dhababaaya rabbiyow mid calanka u dhisaan kaa dhursugayaaya
A shout. So this is a translation by Claire Pollard together with Saeed Jamal Hussain and Mohammed Hassan Alto. Many springs have passed. I haven't recited or played poetry's music or found it entertaining or listened to that wisdom once chanted to its melody. If you have Somali blood, this situation's hard to endure. This is how I've suffered, unnoticed by others. But today there's an unbearable noise, catastrophes, cacophony. Doctors have been massacred, the cream of Somalis. Damn those who shed the blood, who spilt at those marrow, who callously killed Gamad, dear to us all, who have broken these young ones, backbone of our nation. The tears overflow, the trees and sky are weeping. Killers of children, what have you gained? This is not a simple incident, it sets Somalis aflame. Heavy are the groans, the hurt cannot be healed. The corpses are scattered, the dead neglected, little ones left there gazing aghast. Women are lost, adrift in deep anguish. If you saw the scene, you'd be sleepless for nights. Wherever you look, the heart flees in agony. Like ongoing migration, this burdens my mind. How the boats take bodies to perilous ends, to die in high sea, I constantly worry. What has become of us? Perpetual anxiety. They scorn our religion, they shatter my mind. Oh Mogadishu, I'm weak with your suffering. Oh Mogadishu, I'm blaming your boys. Oh Mogadishu, hyenas attack who don't know satiation. Oh Mogadishu, your defenders failed you. Oh Mogadishu, they scattered poisonous gum. Oh Mogadishu, you are vandalized. Oh Mogadishu, your heroes are gone. Thugs and incompetents gather under the wisdom tree, and no plants are left, only useless diradabato. Every day, from morning until night, we hear guns roar, the din of armoured cars, the flash of ammunitions lighting up the distance, smoke pouring loosed from double-barreled guns. Weapons detonate, sent by colonial powers, killing the young, certainly, killing the vulnerable, and the leaders we elected, they don't seem angry. More unwitting fools, unaware of reality. Events seem trivial to some until they actually hit home. Let me stop before I'm carried too far away. I shouldn't go any further describing such horror, or I'll sound like a hyena scavenging in graveyards. In this life, they say you should never give up. I beg you then, I'll pray, and you say Amen. May Allah send us a man of courage, of truth, who treats us equally, shares the milk fairly, makes sure everyone gets some, their bowl full, makes us understand peace, which is beyond price, makes the scorched land recover, greener over, makes strong fences to keep out the enemy, who never falls for money or material goods, who isn't craven but would die for what he believes in, who provides warm clothes, helps those shivering in cold through howling winds, through falling drizzle, who lays strong foundations so we can move forward, who keeps the flag aloft. Allah, we beseech you. It's a huge honour to be connected to the publication of these works and to know these poets a little bit more and to be familiar with the really important work that they're making. A reminder that Ashalul will be reading tomorrow at South Bank Centre. If you'd like to come and hear her alongside Aisha and Hannah, who will be reading their poems in English as well. It's very exciting. Bern, my colleague, is here, and he's got copies of all the books that we've been reading from, and you can sign up to our mailing list as well if you'd like to hear more about our translation work and want to get involved from Somali or any other language. I have a kind of boring but essential request, which is that we've got these cards on the table, and it would be really, really helpful if you had any thoughts about the event, like a comment, and you could take a minute to scribble a couple of comments on here, because it's so helpful for us to know whether the event was any good or, whether you liked what you saw. So there's no specific questions, just anything you thought about the event. We'd love to hear about that. And just to generally meet you anyway, I just want to thank Daljit Nagra and Martin Orwin again, and all of you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you.